I think if we start with Man U, I think, after the first two games, losing in the manner in which they did at Brentford, I think it was maybe a wake-up call for the new manager. I think he'd have looked at his players and thought, we're going to have to take people on a proper end-to-end game of football because we've got better players. And I think after two games he may have had a rethink, and I think there's been a bit of a restart because the way they're digging out results now, which is admirable, I think is they're dogged, they're determined, they're showing real spirit, togetherness. Obviously the Liverpool result would be, and I think I said before the game, it was either going to be a very bad game for them or a great game for them, because if you beat Liverpool then everything in Garden seems rosy again. I think they're playing a pragmatic way now. They're not playing, if you like, the Manchester United way. As long as I've been in football, Man United play a certain way, which is on the front foot, exciting. They are committed to playing that way because it's Man United, one of the biggest clubs, if not the biggest football club in the world. But they've been impressive because they've shown a togetherness to win games. Yeah. And when they go and got tough yesterday and started that second half, they dug in, conceded one. They were rocking, but they got through that and scored a couple of goals on the break. Yeah. Now, going forward, is that how he wants to play? Is that how Man United supporters want the team to play? No. But it's a step. There's been a bit of a reset. They pressed the reset button to think we have to be different. We have to be a little bit more cautious, a little bit more pragmatic the way we want to play, and it's working from today.
Well, 3-1 they won it. 3-1, a good win for Manchester United. Now, Simon, you have said that previously your thinking is the job is going to be too big for Ten Hag. Let's hear Ten Hag and Arteta. First, the Dutchman.
We are in the start from a process. We are still far away. We have to get doing things much better than we do now, and that is an investment we have to do. We have to go that way together every day, bringing that high standards to Carrington, and so more from the prospect from good is not good enough. We have to get better, but the players know that we have to get better if you want to win trophies in the end. But I'm not dreaming from that. First, what we have to do, and that is what the fans can expect. We have to win every game, so they have to see that the game is coming on with the attitude we have to win the game.
We conceded the first goal. It was an action where they contact with Bruno, still 3 versus 3 in the back line. We don't follow our principles and we concede the goal. We do 2 against 1. And after that it was all us. Chance after chance, dominating the game, imposing ourselves that we want to play. I said I have time to the boys. The game is there for the taking. If we play even with more courage, we're going to win the game. It's a big lesson. You want to win here, you have to do everything so right, and especially if you don't do it there, then in the opponent's goal, with the amount of chances that we created, you need to score more goals.
So I think Arteta seems it's an opportunity loss. All right, we'll look at Arsenal in a second. Ten Hag, the job's too big for him. You still think that?
Well, it's a snap judgment based upon a perception at the time, and ultimately we do that because that's what you do when you're speaking sometimes in the media. You micromanage an outcome. You look at the whole disposition, demeanour, whether his suit fits him was an example I made, but people have taken it out of context. My context was, if you put out a team that performs as ineptly as you do against Brentford and you're standing in front of the cameras and you don't look the part, to me it sends out a particular kind of message.
But that doesn't matter now, does it?
No, it doesn't. But listen, let's be clear. In sensible terms or in media terms, Man United were not the worst team to ever set foot in the Premier League after getting beat by Brentford, and they're not the best team in the Premier League that's going to win anything this year either. So he's on a journey. That journey is going to be how he overcomes all of the challenges that Man United bring to bear. There was always going to be, and there was always an inevitability about the bounce factor, because you can only bounce when you hit the bottom, and maybe they landed at the bottom against Brentford. Maybe the sheer absolute ineptitude of the selection, the players' performances and the disposition and the outlook of the players on the pitch was such a level that there was only one way for them to go now, which was back up again. They've got a group of results. I would argue that those results have been against teams that the Liverpool situation, I don't think they were a better team on the day. I think they showed a basic fundamental that you'd expect from anybody that represents a Premier League football team, was a bit of resilience and a bit of fortitude. They've got past Southampton. They've got a great result against Arsenal. Now, the Arsenal result is a bit more telling because Arsenal have been in a rich vein of form, but people are building Arsenal up to a level that perhaps they're not quite at yet at this moment in time. Ten Hag is beginning to find his way around the landscape. He's beginning to get a group of players around him that he feels that are representative of him. Whether we think Manchester United's signing policy of Casemiro or paying top dollar for Anthony is good business or not, whether we think the Glazers are the worst owners that God ever put breath into, Ten Hag has still got many steps to go to achieve what I think Man United should be achieving, which is winning things, not being competitive. Competitive is the basic fundamental agreement, fundamental setting of even a Man United side in the 70s. So in the 2022s, after being the poster boys for the Premier League for a significant period of time, my blueprint is Man United have got to win something, and I think they're going to be a long way away from that. And whether he's a casualty, another casualty of all that goes around Man United, all that orbits it, from the expectation to the awful Glazers to how players shrink when they play for Man United, remains to be seen.
So in season 1, he's got to win something.
Well,
to stop the job being too big for him.
He hasn't got to win something.
That's what you just said.
You would expect Manchester United to be in the running to win something and to be very close to winning something.
Everybody's in the running to win something.
I think top four. If we're being
realistic, we had a conversation with somebody that for some reason or other we weren't able to name at the time, that was influential at Manchester United, that said that they were going to be a powerhouse relatively quickly. We will see. If you're going to spend £250 million and make that a staple diet, then you're going to give yourself an opportunity. And maybe I will live to rue the words of a snap judgment about Ten Hag.
There's one of United fans on Twitter. Simon, I don't get your agenda against Ten Hag. When you were talking about Ranić, you were very open, but on Ten Hag, no, you're having a go. You constantly seem to have a go.
No, but I had a go at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because I didn't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was good enough. To have a different opinion from somebody, only myopic, one-dimensional people think that's an agenda. I don't have an agenda. I sit on one hand saying biggest football club in the world, iconic football club, poster boy for Premier League. Not sure that these guys are the real deal.
You favoured Ranić. You favoured Ranić.
No,
Graeme get that one right. He said to me in Glasgow, never going to work.
I favoured Ranić as being able to go in there and kick backside and take numbers and concentrate a few of the minds of these players that were cheating their way through Man United ranks. And I thought he was going to do more than he was. I was severely disappointed that he was a lightweight in comparison with what was required. So I gave him, wrongly it would seem, more credence than he was entitled to. Graeme called it out from the get-go, which was more about interim employments and management rather than necessarily the credentials of the guy, although you did think the credentials of the guy weren't good enough either, did you?
No. He hasn't done anything
but
wrong.
Graeme got it right. You got it spectacularly wrong in Ranić.
Well, if you
might get it wrong in Ten Hag, the way it's looking.
If you give enough opinions, which is the job that you're in at this moment in time, or the business that you're in, eventually, or on the balance of probability, you're going to get something wrong, aren't you?
Reality check, Graeme, for Arsenal?
Yeah, I think it'll be more of the same, though. I mean, they will think they played very well at the weekend, and in parts of the game they did. They were on the front foot, passed it very well, created chances. But, you know, when you're dominating as they were and at the start of the second half and you're on the front foot, if I'm playing in that game, or I'm on the side, I'm looking at what they've got up front with Rashford and his pace, clever passes of the ball in Fernandes and Eriksen. I'm thinking, we're attacking. We're having lots of the ball, but we're right up on the halfway line, our back four. We have to have a midfield player who's sensing danger, and on a couple of occasions they didn't. It cost them dearly. You know, when you're dominating the ball and you're a midfield player of a certain type, that was my position, so I can talk from experience.
Yeah,
you have to start thinking the worst instead of getting attracted to the ball and thinking it's all great. Everything's rosy in the garden right now. You've got to be thinking danger, and I think there was a naivety about them. I say naivety, it's just one person not having that defensive thought in his head. But for Arsenal with the ball, I thought they were fabulous. But they come away with nothing, having played some fabulous football.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.